Hello, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of communication in League, despite me saying that maybe muting all can be a pretty good idea and something that you should use. But nonetheless, you still want to use pings yourself and chat and whatever for exactly the reasons we will see in this video. Because the thing is, while this is probably like, I don't know, a Diamond 1 or a Master game or something, because I've been trying to find a champion that I think would be fun to play for me in this season. And yeah, so I've been playing in kind of mech games. But then, okay, this is probably still above like what most of you play in, I'm assuming at least, because as far as I know, this is like top 1%, actually top 0.1%, I don't know, whatever. Either way, okay, so I'll demonstrate it exactly. How many things you can prevent. This is not even looking at the early ganks and whatever. I'm just going to show you how many things you can prevent just by pinging people when they're overstaying. Like this guy, there is zero reason to stay. Ping him. That's one death prevented. Okay. Now, let's go forward. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so then he does some random shit here. That's really interesting, right? That's another that could be prevented. Like, where is he going? If I ping him to just fuck off from this play, another that could be prevented. That's 2. This. Sorry. This is a third. Legit a third one. But to be fair, he could actually kill the Garen if he played it properly, so you can argue for this one not being one that could be prevented, but rather something that he just misplayed. But in this, for example, just completely obvious. There's no way. So that is 3 deaths for sure, though, that I could prevent just by pinging. 4. And maybe I'm going for wolves if I ping it and ask her to go down. What do you think would happen? She would live. But she's clueless, so this happens. That's 4. 4 or 5, depending on how you count. This, there's no way this works. He died the same way last time. So that's 5. This is completely brain dead. What she's doing here is completely brain dead. So that's 6. This, right? That's 6 stats. Okay, and we can't play the game. Let's see, another one, I think. Oh no, no, that's not one of those. Whatever, let's not count this. This though, for sure. 7. There's no way this is good. That's 7. Okay. Team fight. Okay. So let's say that in the later and like mid to late game, we could prevent 7 to 8 deaths in this one game just by using pings. Just by spamming your teammates. Isn't that insane? Now let's look at early game stuff. So early game, for example, you can ping stuff like this where pretty obvious that you will get run down. But whatever. He can't do too much about that, let's say, so whatever with that. But for example, before this happened, it's right here, right? Many times people try to stay with HPs and manas like these, and maybe he would be mid lane even, and he would try to stay. In these scenarios, then you're forced to try to spam ping your ally, ping them back, ping recall, ping TP, and get them to base and TP. And if you can do that, then they will stop flipping and egoing, and hopefully they won't die, right? Because otherwise they will probably die. Like here, for example, ping bot lane to back off, because there's no way they can stay here, right? And suddenly, this could be one death prevented again. That's like 9 deaths this game I could prevent by pinging, but I just refuse to ping this game. I think there aren't too many other ones in this game. Yeah, there aren't really any other ones, but 9 deaths in one game, something like that. It's going to be really hard for you to have the same impact in a game as 9 deaths worth. Like, imagine if I just deleted all of these stats at once, this game is instant free win. That's the kind of impact you can have just by pinging in mid to late game, not even early game. And I'll try to find an example of a game where pinging early game would make the difference, I suppose. With this, I'll try to showcase why looking at your teammates' stats also, and enemies and your own and whatever, looking at basically all the stats within the game can help you learn a lot when you look at replays. Because, for example, here, you can just say, well, Lulu's just retarded. But the thing is, if you ping the Lulu a lot, she won't do something like this. But I think she dies here, remember, right? Yeah, like, she just dies. But if she got pinged more, she would not do this, right? You can either achieve her not walking up by just standing here in Narnia, or you can achieve it by pinging, but you don't want to stand in Narnia, you would rather stand a bit closer most of the time, so pinging is just what you're forced to do. Because, for example, this stat could be prevented by me, by just pinging. Like this here, it's a 2v2, right? So Zac is pinging at the enemy jungler is there. Melee doesn't really care, I guess. But then they go in and fight. That's really interesting. You try it, but Shen has ult. Do you know what some top laners do? They spam ping and they type that Shen has ult whenever he does. When Shen is 6, they spam ping it and they try to make their team aware. But you know, our top laner did not feel like doing that. So these two were clueless because they didn't look at what the enemy team is. You can say, well, press tab and you'll see it. But why would you expect your teammates to do that? It's kind of like, do you expect your enemies to press tab and see that you're level 6 when you fight them? Not really. You just ask yourself, okay, well, why are you fighting me? You don't say like, but you should have looked. Like, okay, who cares, man? You already fucked up and the game is lost because of it. Okay, so then this is a pretty needless stat, right? Then this makes 0 sense. If anyone's spamming this guy, he probably backs off. But this isn't that obvious, so that's fine. What happened here? Like here. Okay. So there are like 2 options, right? Either the Zac just comes and covers, or he like spam pings that he's not gonna come and he's gonna do Crux first, and then we have to back off. But if he does neither and we stop paying attention, like, okay, we didn't pay attention and now we're dead. I thought my Zac will come, and I thought that for no reason. I also thought that I would beat the enemy in the fight, so I didn't really care, but apparently not. I thought I would at least trade kills, but I don't know, Udyr shielded for half HP for whatever reason. But again, from Zach's POV, he can think that he can prevent this by pinging me back. Maybe I won't go back because I think I can win the fight, which is probably what would happen in this scenario, but the point is that you at least try, which might make it so people do back off, and if people do back off, then you have more impact on the game. Like, the thing is, if you can manage how your teammates play, then that means that you're going to have more impact and they're going to have a bit less. Mostly because usually what you're trying to do is make them either set you up or do something that's safer. In which case they get less of a lead, but they also throw less. But if you're confident you can get the lead yourself, then it's really worth it. And like, I don't know, what happened here? Like, if you're the jungler, for example, you would just look at this and you would think, okay, well, is there anything here? Well, no, this is not my fault in any way, nothing I could do. Okay, move on. What happened here? Could he be here? Maybe, yeah. He could be here before the wolf camp that he did, I think. So that's something to consider. Is that worth it then or not? He can't really spam ping this away because that guy needs to crash, so even if he dies, he will try to crash. So it's only, can I be here? Do I want to be here? Or would I rather do my wolves? Right? And next time. So what happens here? Oh, okay. Cool. So we're like trying to fight, force a fight. I got trade kill, which I'm happy with, but sadly they die as well. It's just not that good. So the outcome becomes meh. But okay, for example, now it makes 0 sense for them to fight. So I don't know. I mean, if Zach didn't miss every spell, they would probably win the fight. That's the funny thing. It doesn't make much sense for him to fight though, because it's really easy for the enemy to outplay it, especially because Zeri has flash. That's what I meant. But with the way that Zeri played, where she didn't choose to flash anything or whatever, like if we assume that she doesn't choose to flash anything, I suppose, and then it makes some sense. But pinging back here would be better, right? So we could prevent some more deaths. Same thing happens for the enemy team, right? Like, oh, we see the Zac or something. I don't know if he sees them. Yeah, he does. Spam ping it. He sees the Zac, but he doesn't give a fuck. He just doesn't ping once. And this guy has no clue. Clueless. He just goes in. Well, what a surprise. It went badly. It's kind of whatever. I think after this come mostly team fights. But this shows you that both during the early game and during the mid to late game, oftentimes you have upwards of 10, 15 deaths you could prevent just by pinging for either team. And that's an insane amount of gold. That's like a full item's worth of gold that you can deny from the enemy just by using pings all the time. And it's not like these deaths are random when someone dies. I mean, some of them are, like this Lulu death is a bit random. But it's not completely random either, because you know she's going for something, right? There's some kind of logic there, and you can try to understand. I mean, unless she's completely win trading. Like, what she's trying to do here is she's trying to cast her E on the enemy and, like, poke them. Is it completely retarded, stupid, whatever? Sure, yeah. But is there no logic behind it? Is it completely random and just inting? Well, no. Because there's something behind it, right? Same thing as this. There's some kind of a play idea they had, right? It's not like they're trying to lose. It's just that what they did is just not good. So the conclusion ends up being that we need to try to understand what everyone in the game is trying to do and what everyone in the game is thinking and feeling. And then off that, if we use proper communication, we can have more impact than even one single player. Like, I would argue that if you were like the best player at pinging, right? Just pinging, just calling everything, just pinging, but you were a complete AFK player otherwise, you just sat in lane, you didn't really end, but you didn't really win lane, say you just went even, right? I would argue that you would still climb, and like climb pretty well. And why is that? Because first of all, your teammates would have much higher chances of not inting. Second of all, you would tell your teammates what's the correct play. Third of all, you could shot call in mid to late game. Fourth of all, you could what's it called? You could get your teammates to play better around you, which would then result in you having an easier game to play, and in that way you would be able to get ahead also. So in the end, this is just another thing to include in your gameplay, and it's something to practice as well and to look out for in your games. Because if you're not communicating at all, then what ends up happening is, okay, well, I play Evelyn, right? And then if full clear, then my bot lane died, my mid lane died, my top lane died. Well, what now? FF. And then I clear again. All my lanes died again. What now? FF. It's actually FF at that point, because I probably got invaded as well. But if I prevented even one of my deaths from dying, say my top lane or my bot lane or something, at least I have a side of the map I can play on at that point. The same thing applies to every single role. Like, if you're playing mid lane, at least you have a side of the map you can roam to. If you're playing ADC or support, at least maybe like your ADC or support didn't grief, or maybe your jungler came and like gave you a lead or something, you can snowball that. If you're playing top lane, maybe your jungler came and dove, I don't know, something. Maybe they did Herald and Herald your lane, whatever. But either way, you end up in a position where the game is a lot more playable for you. And obviously, it's not a team game, right? Like, the 1v9 mindset is good when you're boosting or something, sure. But a 1v9 mindset when you're playing at your elo or close to your elo is just going to be a poison. So, be careful with that. Either way, I'm going to conclude the video on this. I'm not going to talk too much about the specific means of communication and stuff, because I think that would make the video much too long. But rather, I just wanted to talk about why using communication in general is a good idea though, and why you should practice it and make sure to force yourself to use chat and pings and whatever as much as you can to influence others while not getting influenced too much yourself, because then you would obviously end up playing worse or whatever. If gold players tell you what to do, then you will also be gold. But conversely, if you tell your teammates what to do, they will also be as good as your calls. So if you can improve those calls then, or well, you see that those calls don't work and you improve those calls, then they will also be better. Either way, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe, and comment what you'd like to see next time. See ya.